Okay, so my people's at Signature just sent me this new joint. You can't run forever. It is directed by Michelle Schumacher, who co-wrote with Carolyn Carpenter. The film is produced by Randall Schumacher. Music is handled by Joe Simmons. Pete Villani took care of cinematography. Evan Algren edits the piece. Anne McCarthy and Kelly Roy were on casting. Like Jordan Crockett, production design. Felicia Manu is art direction. And Millie Moreno, set decoration. Greg Lavue took care of costume design. Hair, makeup, we have Sandra Stuckey, Casey Lynn Stuckey, and Nia Shine Alvira. So our cast, who was in the film? Okay, so J.K. Simmons is Wade, right? Fernanda Urjola is Jenny. Her husband, Eddie, is played by Alan Leach. Her daughter, Miranda, is Isabelle Anaya, right? Eddie's daughter and Jenny's stepdaughter, Emily, is played by Olivia Simmons. We have got Deputy Dyer, played by Graham Patrick Martin. Deputy Morgan, played by Andreas Valles. There is Ben, played by Max Garfin. Chuck, played by Matt Flanders. Parker, played by Parker Fennedy. June Clemens is Louise. Todd is played by Kevin Quinn. Wildlife Officer Monroe is played by Joanna Chiampa. Randy Gonzalez is Miguel. Red is played by Bo Linnell. Right. Carly is played by Michaela Poon. Jimmy, played by Dan Sharkey. Ranger Stevens is played by Michael Spears. Nancy, played by Anna Stone. Alette Taylor is Sally. Right. Ranger Collins is played by Blake DePastino. I think that's probably our main lot of people. The gist of the film is a teenage girl suffering from anxiety due to a tragic event from her past finds herself hunted through the woods by a sociopath on a murderous rampage. Right now, this is the third film from Schumacher. All three of those films actually star J.K. Simmons, right? And it's the first feature on the writing credits from Carolyn Carpenter. We do have a director's statement, right? It is You Can't Run Forever is about trauma and survival, and how sometimes we think we couldn't possibly survive something tragic in our lives, only to realize not only can we survive, but we are stronger. It's about the love and strength of family, the family you're born into, and the family you choose. So yeah, that's the interesting, because I do believe that this film does show family. right? It does show family well. Like the family that you choose, I mean, it's not, I mean, the thing with that is because, you know, right? We've got Jenny, she's remarried to Eddie. Now, Miranda, it's not like she chose Eddie and Emily, you know what I mean? Because it's just, this is the new person that her mum has fallen in love with, right? But I think it's more of a case of like embracing change and welcoming new people into your lives, right? Not that the thing being that you can have more than one family. You know, I think that's the big thing here, right? You can have more than one family. You can have love for more than one person, right? I think that is shown. Now, this film, I didn't really know what it was, and to be honest with you, the way it kind of starts, because we see like mountains and scenery. So I'm thinking, is this a fantasy type of film? Right? But then you see the motorbiking, like, okay, it's not. Right. But still, I had no clue what this was. So when it all goes off at the start, you're like, whoa, what the fuck is happening here? And I say, J.K. Simmons, look, we know he's a great actor, right? We know that. That's a given. He does play a cold, switched off son of a bitch real well, right? I think that aspect of it is really good, really good. I thought that was nailed. The the film, right? I think we see some interesting things here. Right? We get a nice switch of color tone, right? The color palette after an incident in the woods, shall we say? Though, right? Though, I mean, how much was ingested? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like, it seemed that not even an eighth, right? It's a minuscule amount. So that I thought that was a little bit nutty, but you know, the kind of effects around that were pretty good. Like the turning, the camera turning, right, around Miranda, a little disorientating, but it did kind of show anxiety, right? It did kind of nail her freakouts, right? So I thought that was pretty decent. There were times when you I mean you were watching Miranda do shit, and you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with her? What is she doing? But then I guess you just look and be like, okay, maybe not everyone is gonna clock certain things, but I do think there's certain stuff that is just, you know, we've watched so many films, you know, there's so many news reports, there's so many things. So it's just like, why would you do that thing? Right. But I think it wasn't a bad, I don't think it was a bad kind of thing showing a lot of what we're seeing her do. You know, I thought that was pretty fine, right? It works. It does work. It does work. I it's when we get the flashback of the instigating issue, I kind of feel that that takes away from things a little bit. Just because it's a little bit like it felt like there must be more, right? Because we see the school thing, okay, fine. And then the home thing, but it's just like, I feel like there needs to be more for then what happens, right? There needs to be more. And there's that comment towards the end which kind of makes them go, oh, was that why? And again, it's a little bit like, really? I don't know. I don't know. I did think that was a bit of a disappointment. And then what then happens? Because it's just like, why would you then go there? Right? There's all of those things that you do kind of question, right? You do question that. I think it could have been a stronger ending, but everything up to that point, right? You are kind of thinking to yourself, how's this going to resolve? Like, what's happening here? Where do we go? How's someone going to escape? Right? And we get these other like little elements thrown in, which does make it interesting. You do, though, have to kind of question, because remember, there's an item that is found, right? It wasn't someone's from Giddy Up. So it's just like, is my man gonna be that much of a sharp shot? Right? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I think the running, the fear, the anxiety, all of that does come through. I think that's very palpable. And again, right, I think those familial ties, right? The relationship between Eddie and Jenny, that you believe that. And then with the rest of the family, right? With Emily, with Miranda, I got all of those ties work. All of that real strong, real strong. We have some decent acting, you know? So it's not a bad film. It's not a bad film. I think yeah, JK just very menacing. Very menacing. It's just with such a build up. Yeah, with such a build up, right? You're just like, wow, where's this gonna go? Just falls a little flat at the end. Falls a little flat at the end. That's a bit disappointing. You just want this bigger crescendo. You know what I mean? Just this bigger crescendo. But yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's definitely is this is not a terrible film, right? Not a terrible film by any means. It's just a little bit. Oh, if only we could have more, right? I think, it's not quite the same, but um, Black Flies, right? AKA Asheville City. I think that has some similarities to it. We've also got, oh, raw. What's that? There was a film about a girl that arrived at, I think it's Come the Night. That doesn't sound quite right. Doesn't sound quite right. We looked at this film a little while back. It was a little while back, but yeah, like Desperation Road, those kind of jams. This film does have those kind of, that kind of connective tissue with. You feel me? So yeah, if you like that kind of thriller, right? Where you're just wondering, oh, can this person escape? How how will everything get tied up? Then you can, you know, I think you can jam with this, right? Think you can do that. Now, I know it dropped in the States last week. Dropped in the States last week, but it is coming to the UK, right? It's coming to the UK. Um, gosh, on the 27th. So we are getting it a little bit later. People, I mean, what the fuck is going on with that? But yeah, it's yeah, it's I think it's gonna satisfy a good few people, you know, right? Like history of violence. If you enjoyed that, I think you'll be okay with this one, So yes, people. The film, as said, is out on the 27th. You can't run forever. If it sounds like it's for you, then you will be able to find it on all your favorite VODs.